freaky tales. These are the tales that I tell so well.
Another Saturday night, my fellas. You know what we do. We in several buildings. Let the spirit of Tennessee Scotty take over, and y'all get laced up one time. Once again, we got Dion in the booth. I got my man LC in the building. What's up, L? KC representing Haven Sport by way of Boise. What's happening, KC? And the good brother, my guy, connected at the hip. You know, out here representing the whole die. What's up with you, Jay Bird?
What's good with it? Let's get it popping.
Let's spend some information and talk some shit and have a great evening. We in here again while you bullshitting. Because it's a lot of folk out here bullshitting. And we just like to be, humble in that space that we allowed to have a platform and call it out. Lot of goings on lately, in the news and whatnot. Our dear frat brother, Eric Bienemy. Some folks are excited about the idea that he has a new job, lateral move to the Washington Commanders. And since my man has, the inside scoop, I really want to hear what you have to say about this matter, JD.
For sure. And I couldn't wait till we actually went live so that we can break all this down. So, when you're talking about Eric Bienemy, you're talking about somebody that I know, right? Like, that's my frat brother. That's my friend. I've spent time with him, right? So first, I want to dispel a myth that he's not a phenomenal interviewer, because I've seen him coaching other NFL coaches on how to interview. Yes. But see, there's a special dynamic at play when you're talking about EB, right? What you're looking at is how many Mike Tomlins are there? There's one, right? And Mike Tomlin has his job, and he's done a phenomenal job, right? As a coach in the NFL, a head coach in the NFL. But Mike Tomlin ain't for everybody, right? There's only one organization that sponsored the Rooney Rule, and he's hired by that one organization. And so the question is in spite of all Mike Tomlin's success, could there be another black head coach with a similar display of confidence and manhood and assurance in who he is? See, Mike Tomlin and Eric Bienemy are real similar in that they work best with younger players, right? And they get the most out of younger players because they are big on accountability. They are big on, you do your assignment and you do your job and we all gonna be successful. And they hold your feet to the fire. And there's a lot of people, it's kind of like that old elementary school teacher that you hated when you was little, but then as you got older, you had love and respect because you knew where that teacher was coming from. Because they was teaching you things, right? That's what it is. And so Eric's resume speaks for itself. Every running back that Eric Bienemy touches is successful. Going back to Adrian Peterson, leading the NFL in rushing, Jamal Charles, like everybody he's touched if somebody got hurt, Kareem Hunt, you know what I mean? Spencer Ware, just random people like Super Bowls. I mean, you know, leading the league in NFL offense, the whole 9 yards. But you watch that Super Bowl and they did not want to say his name. The broadcasters wouldn't even say, the announcers wouldn't even say his name hardly. We didn't hear his name until Andy Reid.
So
right.
So
I've already said Eric Bienemy is an offensive coordinator.
Right.
And Black offensive coordinators don't promote in the NFL like defensive coordinators. Because defensive coordinators are rah-rah guys. Offensive coordinators are seen as masterminds, geniuses, cerebral. And the NFL has yet to feel comfortable giving Black men that title and that acknowledgement for our brains. So it couldn't be about Eric Bieniemy and Patrick Mahomes. It always had to be about Andy Reid's mind.
So prior to the year that Joe Judge was hired as head coach of the New York Giants, might I add a special teams coach, unprecedented. Every year we used to watch the NFL and they would wait for an offensive or defensive coordinator to complete the Super Bowl so they could interview him.
Correct.
Well, Eric Bjornsson took over as OC of the Chiefs the same year.
Eric Bieniemy.
I'm sorry. Eric Bieniemy took over as OC of the Chiefs the very same year that Patrick Mahomes became a starter.
Mm-hmm.
And he took Andy Reid's offense from very good into the stratosphere. So,
Correct.
So when these things occur, he's got 2 Super Bowls under his belt. He just the year that Joe Judge and them got hired was the first year that they said we can't wait for the Super Bowl coordinators. So it became an excuse not to wait for the Chiefs to complete their Super Bowl run to interview the top offensive coordinator in the NFL. And here we stand. He's taking a lateral move after beating the doo-doo dog shit out of 2 white coordinators who are now NFL head coaches. And this occurred less than a week ago.
So now let me say this. Let me say this too. Number one, this ain't the first time that Eric Bieniemy has been assistant head coach. He had earned that title when he was with the Vikings. So the idea that this is a promotion is kind of like hype. However, what I'm excited about in this case is that the general manager, who I know and got love for, Martin Mayhew, is also a bruh. And so I'm hoping that Martin is going to be able to provide enough cover to allow Eric to install what he's going to need to install in that offense to get it to the level that's in line with his track record, right? But and so and Ron Rivera, you know, a Bay Area native, you know what I mean? Ron Rivera stays solid. So in that regard, I feel more comfortable with it, but that don't have nothing to do with the NFL and how the NFL owners move.
No question. Because
the NFL owners have still been reluctant to acknowledge our mental capacity to elevate to genius status. Even though we see it,
was a generous term.
He should have got that job because you saw the man go in motion and then come back out into the flat, wide ass open in the Super Bowl.
Twice.
He should have got that job. He should have got a job because you saw a man who got drafted with pick number 251 out there running everybody over except for that safety, the one safety. He put a hit on Pacheco ass.
Yeah, he did.
But what I'm telling you is Eric Bienemy got that boy ready. They drafted that kid in the 7th round. That kid was balling at the end of the year. Yes. That's what you get when you hire EB. You know what I mean?
Well, no, what you're not talking about is he's a leader of men. We've seen him around our peers, and he handles his business well. He's been doing that for a very long time. And so I know if he was how he impressed me, he's gonna impress a lot of people. I don't care about them. Men respect him in the locker room, and that's all that matters. He understands X's and O's. He's 100%. Creative. Man, put that man on. Quit playing.
100%. And you know what, LC? He's a leader of men in the same line that Steve Wilkes was and is.
Right.
Another bruh who should have a head coaching job right now.
But the goalpost just got moved again.
Look, at the end of the day, it ain't about your brain. It's, do I feel comfortable sitting and eating dinner with you in my house?
Well, it ain't about that. I ain't got to go have drinks with you after work. We want to be productive. And he's a man of men. They're going to go through the wall for him. So I don't care about smoozing and all that. They ain't got nothing to do with it. The thing is about end results. I listen, wherever he land, he going to be cool. Give him the system, give him the players that he want, or he going to figure out whoever he got to make it happen with the people he got, man. I ain't sure.
Right. And unfortunately, we talking about what these cat-ass owners who do not look like us, how they feel. And you can say whatever you want to say, but that's the only thing that ain't on the resume.
Well, you're gonna drop the bomb on it, like that clears everything. Like, I can't beat that. I can't beat that. I can't beat that.
No, that's the big joker.
I can't beat that.
That's been the big joker since Sherm Lewis, before Sherm Lewis.
Hey, so
it is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Okay. The reality of it is this. Now we done got the breakthrough with the black quarterback, and we said last week we were celebrating the diversity of the black quarterback, but the NFL is not ready to give the black man credit for being different than other black men. So if you're not a defensive coordinator and you're not a yeller and screamer,
right? Then they checking for us. They ain't checking for us on that.
Hey Siri, stop.
AI got the AI in your house. You got the AI in your house.
so you know.
Hey, Solo jumped in. I'm sorry.
And let me say this before we close too. I'm excited for EB, what he's gonna do. It's feeling real Colonel Charles Youngish to me right now. It's feeling real go on a mission to prove your fitness and worthiness.
Right.
After you already done proved over and over and over and over and over again.
Well, should he have stayed? You think he should have stayed?
I'll tell you straight up. If this me off.
Hey,
if this me off.
Hold on,
go ahead, KC.
Hey, man. I don't care where he is, whether he's in Kansas City, whether he's in Washington, he's still going to be black.
Yeah.
He's still going to be a black OC. So how does that change anything? He's still going to have that record they always keep trying to use against him. Whatever happened in the past that they keep trying to throw back. I mean, hell, we so quick to tell people to let Jerry Jones and all his stuff that, you know, the picture he was in, how long you going to hold that against him? How long you going to hold this against Eric Bieniemy about whatever he had in his background? You know what I mean? Plus, look at the other coaches. Let me name these coaches for you. Zach Taylor, Kevin Stefanski, the guy Shane Steichen, Josh McDaniels, Mike McDaniel, Brandon Staley, you know, Mike LaFleur, even Mike Shanahan, all these cookie cutter face of the program kind of guys that they want to have, that, you know, these prototype guys that they want to put on the face of the media guide. You know what I mean? The enemy seem like he don't fit that type. You know what I mean?
No, but see,
you
that's
look at all them dudes, and then
facts.
like you say, you never give a guy credit for his football acumen. You tell him, yes, he's a leader of men. He's a great leader of men, but he's also a great X and O guy.
Yes, sir.
That's the part that's the bullshit right there that they need to get off of.
Yes,
At
sir.
the end of the day, our brother took a lateral move, and these owners, and I'm going to call it what it is, these bitch-ass owners got to get this thing figured out, or they got to bequeath power to somebody who's smarter than them. Because I'll end it with this. Racism is expensive, and you're going to be paying out all these sorry-ass coaches' contract after you let them go in year 1 or 2 of their 4 to 5 year contract. It's All-Star Weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and I, for one, am not excited. It's in Salt Lake City, Utah. I've only spent a layover in Salt Lake City, although I'd love to go see the Dubs play the Jazz out that way. But shout out Dame Dillard, Brookfield native, took the 3-point contest tonight. I happened to pick it up because they had a bunch of guys who I've heard of, but for all intents and purposes, I've not heard of in the dunk contest. Unless you got Ja, Anthony Edwards, and Donovan, I'm just quite frankly not interested. I don't know if y'all want to weigh in on that. I'm highly not excited about All-Star Weekend.
Well, number one, Greg knows that I shoot better than him. That's why he said Dame Dillard instead of Dame Dollar.
Dame Dollar.
So, that being said, shout out to Oakland's own for winning the 3-point contest just now.
Yeah, you made us proud.
That was dope. And Dame do what Dame do, right? Now, I will say about Salt Lake City, that airport is dope. If you got a layover, they do have some pretty good food. I'm just saying. Besides that,
turn my camera off on my brother, man. Hold on.
Besides that, I can't really say I'm that excited. The dunk contest, Mac McClung looked like he gonna win it or already won it.
Yeah.
And I think, G, you had a good point. I would much rather see the stars. I need somebody like Ant-Man or somebody, or Ja Morant. Give me somebody that got some star appeal.
Oh, my mama. Shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm not necessarily feeling all these no-name fill-ins. This shit feeling like Mosswood.
Right.
Well, what we doing? You know what I mean? The Mosswood All-Stars, like with all this G League shit they was doing this weekend. I mean, I'm not sitting down watching people I don't even know if they gonna be that guy or not. I want to see the best of the best compete.
One of y'all might get a call one of these years to play in the rookie against the regular fuckers.
Or get the professional dunkers, man. If you're going to entertain me, entertain me. If the best not going to do it, don't do it. Like, after Zach LaVine and what's my other man named? Gordon. That was the last of the real dunk contest.
After they cheated.
I don't want to see I don't want to see every dunker miss 3 dunks before they get one in.
I don't want to see that. Out here peeping us. I see you, Trev.
Treston, what's up with you, boy? But yeah, I'm not feeling that. I'm like, I don't want to see nobody that I don't know, or they ain't even. I mean, you got motherfuckers out here on a 10-day, and they in the dunk contest.
Hey, Kenny Smith said it. Kenny Smith said it. Reggie said that Cuz was gonna win it easily, but Kenny Smith said he's never dunked in a game ever.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, check it out. Let's shift gears from the professional hardwood. We're going to take it back to the prep. NCS playoffs was live and well. I was able to catch 2 playoff games this week. I was at the home of the Moreau Mariners. On Wednesday night, Moreau knocked off Amador Valley. And head coach Willis Gardner does a phenomenal job over there with those kids. played his college ball at Colorado State. And then last night, I had the luxury to see my alma mater. A lightweight got touched up against the Monroe Mariners. It was a great evening. A lot of bros in the building. My young safety, Robert Morgan, was out there putting it down, had 20 points on Wednesday night, was real active in a big victory last night. O'Dowd put on a late run, but I really and truly want to highlight two great men, the great Lou Ritchie and the great Frank Knight, two East Oakland representatives that have done very well for themselves, played D1 basketball, both played in the tournament. Phenomenal coaches, have built up very good programs, and are very good examples, parents out there in the internet world, very good examples of men you want your sons around should they decide to pick up a basketball, should they not decide to pick up a basketball. So it was a great night for those two men. Unfortunately, O'Dowd and Lou Ritchie and the Dragons came up on the short end of the stick. But one question I want to ask y'all, on the boys and girls side of the NCS playoffs, we currently have 7 divisions. We got divisions 1 through 6. And if you really letting them hang low and you think y'all them boys or them girls and you're just that good, you go in the open division. So we've got 7 divisions, anywhere from 14 to 16 teams in each division. And we got 155 total schools in the North Coast section in California, meaning 105 schools make it into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Are these participation trophies? What the fuck we doing out here?
That's all it is. It's a big fundraiser for CIF.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, if your kid ain't playing, you don't even waste time going to the first round, because it ain't going to be the real deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you win the first 2 rounds, you qualify for the state playoffs. Right? So the real playoffs start after the first 2 rounds, or at least after the first round.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
If you look at the NCS, the open division is 6 teams in it. You know what I mean? And 5 of them are from the same league, the EBAL. I mean, you know, you got 1 that's from Salesian. Everybody else, Doherty Valley, Grenada, Dublin, San Ramon Valley, I mean, and De La Salle, they all from the same league. I mean, what is that? You know what I mean? All this is the EBL playoffs again with Richmond.
Yeah.
Crazy. We're going to come back to that game because there was a few other takeaways I had I want to share with y'all. But I was really concerned that night. I was watching the young brother Willis Gardner Wednesday night coach his Amador Valley team. And the thing that I got concerned about, he did a phenomenal job. He had his kids involved. He seemed to know the game of basketball well. He managed his subs, managed his teams. Here was my problem. And I want you to really hear me when I say this. And I'd like to hear y'all weigh in. My problem was I was sitting in the 4th row and I heard a few profane words. But that wasn't my problem, that I heard a few profane words. You know, sometimes if I can communicate effectively with a variety of jargon, sometimes I need to arrest your soul and I need to really dig in, and the emotion captured might incorporate a profane word. And I don't think we should get butthurt by that. My problem is I'm concerned because he's a young black man. Older white coaches, I watched a documentary on Bobby Hurley's father who cussed like a sailor for a Catholic school. They don't let brothers cuss at Catholic school if you're in a position of authority. But if you're an older white man, you're a fire and brimstone. You're a no nonsense Bobby Knight. You're all about it. And my concern is that cooler heads ain't gonna prevail. So I'm just hoping that this brother can be given the support and can get better at the craft. He's a 2nd-year head coach, and he does a great job with the Dons. I'm just really concerned.
My thing with that, right? Because we all cuss every now and then. We coach.
Yes, sir.
But you should never, ever call a kid out his name.
No question.
So there's levels, right? If you firing up, you know what I'm saying, and you firing up the team, and you going you going menace to society, them motherfuckers just shot your cousin. That's different. Right? Because if I'm in the 4th row and you just say that they just shot my cousin, hey, I'm turning up with you. Let's get it in. However, if I'm in the don't cuss my kid out, don't call my kid out her name, because you gonna get called every single last name. Don't do that. I don't care if you white, if you black, if you young, if you old. You should not be cussing at no kid. Now, if you are inspiring and you talking about this situation, like, this can be some bullshit. The effort can be some bullshit. Okay? Y'all out here bullshitting is completely different than saying, motherfucker, you rotten. Nah, we ain't doing that.
Nope, I agree.
You know
well, I'll go one further. I don't use profanity around kids whose families I don't know. If your mama don't know I love this young man or this young lady,
correct.
This is a very vanilla, professional relationship. This is what we're doing. We're here to do this, and the third. The usage of profanity has to be, it's got to be judicious, it's got to be specific, and it's got to be discreet.
Right.
You, again, to echo what you said, Jay Bird, is I'm not cussing at no child. I'm not calling no child out their name.
Right.
But if in the process of delivering the message, the most incisive manner possible employs an F-bomb or something of the like, there's got to be some sense of discretion and professionalism for other ears.
Mm-hmm.
My point is, I know there's a double standard on this. Go ahead, KC.
You got to know your crowd too, though.
Got to know the crowd.
Dealing with who you deal with, because let me tell you from personal experience, my first year as a head coach, I came out yelling, screaming, getting on guys all day. After that, after the season, I'm getting questions about, can you tone it down a little bit? You tearing down kids' character, which I never did personally. But, the kids are scared and this, that, and the other. Then the next year, I tone it down. This year, then all of a sudden I get, well, you sound like you don't care anymore, coach. Which one do you want? You know what I mean? It's like, which one do you want? I mean, you can't have it both ways. That's why I say when I go from damn near needing a therapist, the kid damn near needing a therapist, to coach is just there to collect a check and he doesn't care. It's like, you guys got to figure out what you want as far as that goes. Sometimes we got to get after your kid. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes we got to get after your kid. Sometimes, that's a part of coaching right there. Sometimes you got to wake a kid up, because, these kids need the motivation right now. Right now we at a point where, quite frankly, very few kids have that competitive streak. Like, if us five went out there, we gonna figure out who the best. We gonna figure out who gonna be on the court. I'm not gonna let you get over on me. I'm sorry, man. You the homie, but I ain't gonna let you get over on me.
Right.
These kids accept losing. Oh yeah, he dunked on me. All right, it's good. You know what I mean? There's very few kids. The very few kids I see who still have that dog where they're like, I'm not gonna let you do that to me no more. You know what I mean? And we got to work to pull it out of them as coaching. There at times it takes using that kind of language, especially when it comes to kids from this area, because that's what they respond to.
You said pull it up out of them. So some, either you got it or you don't. Yep. Sometimes it's outwardly expressed. Sometimes you got to get it pulled up out of you. So sometimes those curse words make you go to a zone where you have to pull out of what you said to me, and you get at that. You feel me? So sometimes some kids you gotta rub their shoulders. Sometimes you gotta kick a kid in the ass.
No question. Absolutely correct. So it's track season is upon us. And I just want to share with all the parents of athletes, Go vet your track coaches. And if you want your kid to play college ball, give 3 months to increase a vertical leap, get quicker, get more powerful in the hips. Vet the track coaches. One-dimensional track coaches who don't know about power and explosion work can set you back. Vet them. So, moving forward, we wanted to get into the bullshit, and this is the call-out section. We're gonna start off with JD, and then we're gonna move to KC. So, JD, you got some things on your chest you need to let off.
Yeah, man. First, let me finish up the high school segment. Just talking about in Division I, we saw Folsom High School lost last night to the 8th seed Western Ranch out of Stockton. Yeah, them brothers was running and gunning. So they went ahead and went to Folsom and handled that business. So D1 is going down. So now it's number 8 seed number 8 seed Western Ranch. They're playing at number 4 seed Jesuit, who is led by Peja Stojakovic's son, Andre Stojakovic, who's a McDonald's All-American going to Stanford. And then on the other side of the bracket, you got Modesto Christian, who is perennially
that St. Mary's education.
Yeah, they look annually. They always nice. So you got them, and they playing Indercom. So I'm probably gonna go to that Indercom Modesto Christian game, and then we'll see what happens from there. So
fellowship when you go to Indercom.
Yeah. So, but I want to talk about, we talked about these kids, and you said vetting the coaches, and I just wanted to take a couple minutes and talk to parents about really making sure you find a coach that can motivate your kid, because we always talk about confidence being a very, very important attribute for successful athletes, right? And most times people talk about, well, in order to have confidence, you have to put the work in. So if you was a basketball player, you would be in the gym shooting all the time, right? So you would put the work in so that you can have confidence in your skill set. But before you can put the work in, you have to be motivated. And that's where having the right coach can help you. The right coach will get to know you and understand you and be able to pull you to the side, get you one of these gentlemen on the screen that's going to get in your kid ear and say, hey, man, look, this is what it is. All I need you to do is do X, Y, and Z, and you're going to be good. But you got to be able to do that. Next time I see you, I need you to be able to do this, this, and this. So focus on this, this, and this. That's going to motivate your child to stay later or show up before or get some work in on the side. And then when they put the work in, then they can be confident. And the confidence is a recipe for success. But if you don't have a coach that's going to help motivate your child and put your child in conditions where that child can flourish, you are going to be running in circles as a parent, because you're going to spend a lot of time, you're spending a lot of money, you taking them to and from practice. And there's two types of coaches. There's one coach that's going to develop your child. There's another type of coach that's just going to use your child.
Boom, boom, boom.
And it can be the same exact coach, parent. That's why it's important that you know what kind of relationship you and your child gonna have with the coach. See, at St. Joe's back in the early 90s, Jason Kidd was allowed to develop.
No question.
Adrian Ely was being used. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
He had a skill set that he came to high school with. He was a super athlete. We all knew it. He could run, he could jump, and he could defend. He couldn't really handle the rock like that, and nobody was expecting him to knock down open jumpers. And so if the coach is not encouraging and helping you develop, right, you in the wrong situation, because you only get to go down this road one time. So you better know who that coach is to you and your child. Telling you from experience.
You got to know it's such an inexact science. You spoke early that we don't get the credit of being the mastermind, the genius, the writer of the system. We're frequently told that we are good motivators, but I feel like to be a good coach, it's that inexact science of both. Mm-hmm. You got to know what the hell you doing and what the hell the objective is. And then you got to know how to articulate said objective to your charges. But to your point, JD, you also got to motivate them to want to fulfill their potential.
That's right. That's where Eric stands out above the rest, because he builds a relationship. And let me, before I go, let me say this. Because that shit that LaShawn McCoy put out there about Eric Bienemy was some foul shit. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I told y'all earlier, people like LaShawn McCoy, at the end of your career, you not going to get in the room with Mike Tomlin and Eric Bienemy and watch them let you bullshit.
No.
You was old and washed up. You wasn't feeling what EB was telling you. Yep. That's why your ass didn't play, because you was at the end of your career. You wasn't Shady McCoy in Kansas City.
No,
you was an old ass tired running back who wasn't the guy.
No question.
So at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's like you took a personal issue and trying to defame this man's character. Well, we got way more of a track record of him positively influencing and helping running backs like Jerick McKinnon. Boom! Who just balled all year, damn near at the same point of his career.
Pacheco.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep, he had mentioned. Yep, no question.
Can I comment on something before you move it along, G? Before you move it along. Before you move it along, JD, you said something very important. That same coach is both, because you're gonna have some crash out dummies that they want to just peak in high school, and you know that, and they done told you that. So they're gonna be the crash course dummy. That's your highest point. You have other kids that want to go on to the next level or do some stuff, or sometimes you have some kids that just want to wear their jerseys around the school so the girls can be on them. Man, you know, every kid that you got. So yeah, I'm gonna push the kid who put in the work to do the stuff, even the kid that said he wanted that. And okay, well, I'm gonna test him. Are you going to study hard? Are you doing this? If he has not proven that he gonna do that, he gonna crash dummy him. Straight up, man. Like keep it real. The kid's gonna tell you what level they want to be on.
Right.
And I can give them all the spills how to elevate yourself if you want to. They gotta grasp that for themselves.
They do. But there's some,
and if you do, you give them those resources, you help them along, and you mentor that kid.
Right.
But all of them ain't gonna do it, because you know they talk a good game. They want to. They got the good vocabulary, and they going about their way, and they full of shit because they ain't put the work in. Because they can't. They was the last motherfucker getting in the weight room. They was the last motherfucker in study hall. They hanging around doing the thing. They smell it. They put their little perfume on before they come in the thing. They put their little mouthwash in before they come in the thing. You know what that is. You don't insult my intelligence with the game. You feel me? And so I'm gonna get at you how you get at me. I'm gonna treat you how you want to be treated. How you get at me, I'm gonna treat you how it's supposed to go. Period.
Right.
Stop me if I'm lying.
No, you
No,
all right.
Nope.
Hey, it ain't.
Yeah,
it
I'm
ain't
not
for
saying coach.
everybody.
I'm gonna
It ain't.
elevate the ones who need to be elevated. Where I'm not wasting my time. I'm gonna get you where you need to be, young man
Right.
or
Hey,
ma'am or sir
hey,
or young lady.
a
Now
lot of
this ain't
coaches.
because that we can't defend the ones that's flunking out of school.
I
We
can't.
ain't
Come
defending
on.
the ones
You're a
who
good
ain't
scout guy. You're a
showing up.
good scout
Right.
guy until your grades come out. You're the
Yeah.
scout guy until the grades come out. You that dude, yeah, we love you, yeah, woo woo. Grades come out, you gone. You're a good scout guy. You're a good
A
scout
lot
guy.
of coaches say they don't play favorites, and I'll
Uh,
be the first one to tell you, I play favorites. My favorites are the kids who work hard.
Every day.
That's it, and that's all.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Athleticism, all that other stuff don't matter. If you show
Right.
up and you put it down the way you're supposed to, and you grind your tail off, hey, that's my favorite kid right there. No question, all day and twice on Sunday. So check this out. We're gonna twist because it's something on my man KC chest, and he been a little hot. Not a little hot. I think closer to fish grease about some of these punk ass coaches who don't allow their kids to play multiple sports. They're kids. Talk about how they bullshitting, KC.
Man, so I don't want to always go back to being that one that always talk about remember when, but remember when you played. If you was good enough to play, you played.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you was good enough to play, you played. That's where all the homies was. That's where you guys. It was just natural. Now we at this era of these specific sports now where guys are telling kids starting in middle school, they telling kids, you know what, you need to concentrate on this sport. How you gonna guarantee the kid gonna go, to the major leagues, in 6th, 7th, 8th grade? You know what I mean? How you need to concentrate on this. You see it in basketball, especially. These basketball coaches, especially the guys who play at these schools with these so-called system schools, coaches will tell you, oh, well, you're going to be behind the other guys and you won't be able to catch up if you're out playing football, if you're out running track. We have our summer league and we have this that we do year round. You're going to be way behind the other guys in development. Plus, we got other kids who come in. Well, if you got all this going on, compete. If I make the team, I make the team. But don't tell me I can't enjoy my high school career and play something else. You know what I mean? Just because you want me to play on your team. And there's a lot of times, especially at these private schools, there's a lot of times where kids do all that, sacrifice all that, and then still don't make the team. I mean, how many times have you seen at a school? I mean, I'm not like a Bishop O'Dowd or Moreau or even the modern day De La Salle, any of those kind. Kids go through all the JV, freshman, JV, all that. Then their senior year, they come out for football because they getting cut from the varsity team when they could have had 3 years of development in that other sport.
Antoine, them coaches is stupid. Keep going,
a
KC.
lot of these coaches who are allowed to get away with that, you are doing kids wrong. And a lot of parents who let the coaches do that. Yeah, because the coach has 1 million wins on his record. Yes, okay, that's good, but he's still not helping that. He's helping himself or herself as a coach.
No
You know what I
question
mean?
about
The same way that Cook said, you're being used. Hey, man, that's the way, a lot of kids, they fall into that because, yes, the coach has 1 million wins, like I said, but, I mean, what they say is not gospel all the time. You know what I mean? And you don't know how good you can be. You don't know how good you can be until you try that other sport. Hell, I can tell you for myself, from personal experience, I didn't play youth football. I played football when I got to 9th grade. I thought I was a hooper. I came no doubt to play hoop. I found football along the way and see what happened from there. You know what I mean?
As you should, coach. Let your kids play all sports.
Thank you.
I just want to call out my biggest takeaway from that was KC mentioned a lot of the powerhouse Catholic schools in Northern California, and I noticed he didn't mention JD school. I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was really, I thought it was emblematic of something larger that was happening. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna go one further on that point. The late Mike Phelps, great high school basketball coach over the years, put a lot of guys through high school, put some guys to the next level, coached a lot of guys that were talented enough to go to the next level. But my biggest problem in my 4 years of high school is, to your point, KC, he didn't allow two-sport athletes that had melanin. In my 4 years of high school, there was one two-sport athlete, and that was Eric Bjornsson. But he had a rule that there were no two-sport athletes at Bishop O'Dowd. Now, KC, you was there with me the whole time, so if I'm lying, call me out. My man KC, All-American running back at Boise State University. We got some coaches out here in the internet world checking out while you bullshitting. Y'all paying attention. Tell me this. If you know athleticism and you know your sport, you can't take a college All-American running back and make him your sixth man. He can't give you rebounds and play defense on the perimeter. My high yellow ass, he can't. It's just, it's insane how when I was in high school, we had a 40-point scorer at Richmond High School that went to San Diego State, Jason Powell. We had a little tailback with thighs that looked like people's waist. E-Rod played point guard at UC Davis. Looked just like a tailback. Should have been a tailback. A lot of these guys, we had a bunch of 6'3" forwards who could have been D1 athletes. I'll mention one more. Coach Phelps also coached baseball. And I don't know any brothers that play football that play baseball, but we had a lot of guys that did play football and baseball. No brothers. Just my observation. Just my observation.
Along with that, G, though, Greg Norton was a hell of a basketball player too, and he played in the major leagues in baseball. He was one of the best. I don't think he wanted to play basketball. Greg Norton was one of the better athletes that came through our school. That boy was bad. I mean, it wasn't I don't think Greg Norton wanted to play hoop. He was cold at everything. If he picked up a soccer ball, he'd probably make the varsity soccer team and be starting. Like, he just had athletic skills. He made it to the majors. So we know he had a skill set. So the other thing I wanted to jump on just real quick, if I got time for it. The other thing I wanted to jump on, these personal trainers. Now every kid in high school got this whole. Now I don't mind, like we talked about when you say that you got the team of people working on them, but you got these personal trainers who out here now basically using kids, as my man said earlier, where they jumping on this train. Like, it's easy to find Najee Harris and Joe Mixon. You know what I mean? It's easy, and take credit for them because you have them working out at your gym all the time. You know what I mean? And you got their buddies coming along with them. Now, why don't you take that kid, that JV kid that, probably doesn't play a whole lot, and develop him into a serviceable varsity player, or even a varsity player who can play at the JC level or something? That's the guys that I want to give credit to. You know what I mean? We got too many of these guys around here. They go after the big name kids while the rest of the kids get left behind. As far as that goes,
off team chemistry.
Here, let me. I'm gonna go one further. There is a superstar trainer, right, in the NFL college ranks named Travell Gaines, right? Mm-hmm. So what Travell did was, when the Raiders was playing in Oakland, what he would do is when they was finna play the New Orleans Saints, that man went to the hotel where the Saints was playing, and legend has it, he just sat in the lobby and waited for Reggie Bush. And he begged Reggie Bush, please, can I just work out with you? Can I just show you what I do for training? Show you my techniques, right? Ain't gonna cost you nothing, please. Begged him. So that offseason, Reggie Bush said, all right, man, I'm out here in LA. Let's make it happen. They worked out. he filmed it. He took it back to all the other colleges and said, if I'm good enough for Reggie Bush, I'm good enough for you, ain't I? And so what ended up happening is he buddied up with all the top college players coming out. And he said, I'm going to let you work out with me for free. And then when you get ready to turn pro and go to the league, your agent going to pay for it. So you ain't never got to pay me to train. So he built up a huge training business. Everybody that's getting ready to turn pro on the West Coast, I mean, they going to work out with this cat, right? And all they doing is babysitting them cats. They get on the treadmill and jog.
That's all they doing.
I would take up all the rest of the time telling you what these dudes be doing, man.
So I recently taught at a highfalutin, real wealthy Lilly High School, and a lot of the kids I had to talk in to be a part of our track program when I was establishing culture. So I successfully pulled a bunch of kids away from personal trainers to do the work we was doing. Those boys went on ahead after my tutelage and won a state title. Again, there's about 1,000 state titles in California. But they went ahead and won a state title, and they did very well, and they improved tremendously. However, all that being said, a lot of them that was working with these personal trainers, I had to tell them, you know, you attend the school, so I know, you know, your family bringing in a certain dollar. And you getting paid, you're paying top dollar for this tutelage that you have at your school when you have a good coach. But when your parents don't vet it, they don't really see it. And I had to explain to several of these people that, hey, man, you're paying top dollar. But there's a kid in EPA. There's a kid in East Oakland. There's a kid in the Manor, in Central Richmond, in North Richmond, in West Oakland, and he's going to the Pac-12. He's going to the ACC. He's going to the Big Ten. His family can't afford this. You subsidize him. And that's how I got a lot of them kids to come and continue to work out with us, and they showed tremendous improvement.
Right.
So be judicious. You don't have to spend all this money on a personal trainer. If your child, if your daughter or your son has the wherewithal and the want to get to the next level, they gonna get there. You need to put them on stage and showcase them. Don't be spending hella money for these personal trainers. That ain't where it's at. Let them play as many sports as they want.
The coach on campus, that's what he's there for, right?
That's what he's there for. Go vet him. That's why you send him to the school. If you only did parent-teacher conferences and you didn't talk to the coaches, well, somebody's full of boo-boo. And it's not your kid.
Hold on. Well, if you just got to give your money away, this panel would love to take your money. We will go train your kid. I mean, what else you got to lose? We go throw it away. I give you kids the game.
We'll get them
so
ready.
Let us do something with them. I just say.
I mean, how many times you seen kids leave their team practices to go off with the personal trainer?
To go overtrain the muscles.
You know, then they come. Then they say that, I'll be back when it's time for the season or whatever. You know what I mean?
My partner Antoine Evans know what I'm talking about because he's been there and he done built a powerhouse, made something out of nothing with the Sacred Heart Fighting Irish there. You understand me? Right in Fillmore, in the heart of the city. Yes, indeed. Look.
Now hold on. We not saying that practice is enough. We're not saying that practice is enough. Because you gotta do something outside of practice.
Do something extra. But
you gotta don't pay
for it.
Yeah.
Well, you're average.
Unfortunately, every coach ain't the type of coach that's going to give the kids time. So just make sure that whatever training you getting, you vet the trainer and you can ask questions and you can talk to other people that's done worked out with that trainer
Trill spill.
and seen results.
Vet them. Go meet them.
Background.
Get in their personal space. It's your
Background.
child. So check it out. This week, what we're going to end on. In the United States of America, we currently have a shortage of prep officials. And it's reflected in multiple sports at multiple levels. We're talking about young men and women who want to serve the community, who want to help, who probably, I know in the state of California, get paid somewhere between $40 and $80 a game, depending on the level and the sport. Well, when we see this on a macro, and you're getting paid somewhere between $30 and $100 per game, and after the game, the hostilities of family members and fans and coaches is at a level, it's at an all-time high, and it's too much. That baseball umpire didn't come out here to listen to you berate him in all type of different languages and be profane and disrespect his family. He might have done a bad job. Some of them do bad jobs. They're making $50 to $80 a game, $40 to $80 a game. They're not the best in their profession. They probably have a 9 to 5, 2 to 3 side hustles, and they're making a little money here. But they also want to make sure the athletic competition goes. And yet, if they make a bad call, you want to threaten them. Last night at the Moreau Bishop O'Dowd game, North Coast section, second round, Division II playoffs. They had 2 officials. They ain't have 3. And yes, on multiple occasions, there were bad calls because the ref didn't have an angle and he had to make a judgment call. And I think there's a way, forgive me, I'm still gonna be me. There's a way to heckle the refs that's not disrespectful, that's not threatening, that's not profane.
So wait a minute.
Come on, jump in.
So what you saying is that the ref didn't get off work and then drive through traffic to get to the game to cheat me and my kid?
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
That's what he wanted to do. His agenda was to end the career of some teenager he had it out for or she had it out for.
Okay.
I don't mind you criticizing referees. I'm going to criticize all y'all, and I'm going to receive the criticism when I see something to be critical of. But at the end of the day, when the competition is over, I want that man or that woman to go home to their family, have a good evening. It was a rough game, whether I'm on the winning end or not. I'm going to shake their hand and thank them for that. And I'm going to go back to it. The great Frank Knight, just last night, was down 7 fouls to none in the second quarter. And I saw High Street in him. I'm from High Street. High Street representing him. I saw it in him. He got on the refs hard, but he never cursed at him. And he never disrespected him personally. So they couldn't tech him up.
There's a way to do things.
It's a way to go about your business.
Because if we honest, none of us spent all day thinking about the rule book.
Yeah.
Not one of us did.
But we show up to the game.
You're an expert.
Everything we think we see. Traveling, carrying, 3 in the key.
Right.
And then we had to get games moved to either Thursdays or Saturdays because of the shortage. And I had to deal with a grandparent came down on the field and got at the referee on the sideline. So, I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. I had to apologize for my parent. This is out of control now.
The
My homie Twan has seen it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you absolutely right. The parents, and it's an opportunity for all of us to check ourselves. And so, appreciate you bringing it out.
I got thrown out by a racist ref up in Fort Bragg. The game started. KC was there. The game started, and he says to me, "I need you out of my way. I'm not going to be able to hook a brother up." It wasn't a brother that said it to me. I said, "Wait a minute. You ain't going to be able to hook a brother up? What that mean?"
He said he wasn't going to be able to hook a brother up.
One of my kids had to live strong on. That's an equipment violation. I did research after the game and found out it's not a personal foul. He called it a personal foul on the head coach. It's an equipment violation. It's not a personal foul. The second The
G,
second
we out of time.
I ain't heard the music come in.
We gotta let the refs live.
It's 1 minute to go.
We gotta
Hey man, the second foul I got, I said, "Sir, can you explain that to me?"
get out of there,
Flag.
brother.
I left the game with the headset. I called the second half, and we tapped that ass while they was bullshitting. Give it to me, Chase.
Put that shirt on, man. Put that shirt on, man. Fuck it.
The freaky tales. These are the tales that I tell so well.
We appreciate y'all taking y'all such valuable time. Listen up here, and hopefully drop a little bit on you and make it a little easier, a little better.
This what we on today.
You have to run that back, my eyesight back, and have my glasses on.
I brought mine.
That's what it is.